Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the juror questionnaire that sure looks like it is going to be happening and served up to prospective jurors in the trial of New York versus Trump, with jury selection to begin on Monday. Okay, there was a process that occurred about a questionnaire. That's a common thing to happen, and there's can be wrangling back and forth as to what questions are asked. There were some questions here that were agreed to, others that weren't agreed to, and it fell to Judge Merchan to decide what to ask. He's done so and published a whole questionnaire, and which has extensive questioning, and I want to highlight a few points and then give a couple other highlights of what he says in the questionnaire up top about how this is going to proceed. Okay, so a very interesting, and I thought to me important indication was about the case itself, is how the judge says he is going to charge the jury. And what he's going to tell them as they first arrive is that this is a case. The allegations are that Donald Trump falsified business records to conceal an agreement with others to unlawfully influence the 2016 presidential election. Okay, there's been this whole war of words, right, in the public sphere, on the stations, etc., where people have been saying, I among them, we should really think of this as an election interference case, not a hush money case, not a porn star case. The reason that this payoff was happening was because it's in the wake of Access Hollywood, and his electoral fortunes have taken a hit then. And here comes a possible other story in the same vein, and this might completely decide the election, so he conceals it. And that's the whole reason for pretending that it's legal fees to Michael Cohen. That's the whole reason. A great little detail that's going to come out is after they win, Trump says, do I still have to pay the money? And or maybe says before, if we win, do we have to pay? I mean, it's clear that that's what it's about. So anyway, there have been trivializers of the case who've wanted to portray it as only about paying off a porn star about an affair. That's nothing for Donald Trump after Access Hollywood. But so the judge comes down four square and will inform the jury. This is a case about trying to unlawfully influence the 2016 presidential election. That, I think, is important. And then there's a sort of skirmish up front about whether the jury will be told that they are anonymous, and if they have to be, Trump is worried that that will make them think that Trump is dangerous, which of course he is, but that he could otherwise broadcast their name, put him in danger. So there's a back and forth about that, and whether Merchan will let them know. Now we get to the questions themselves, and a lot of them are standard, but let me just kind of highlight a few. So standard, but one that the parties will be listening to very closely. What publications do you read, or cable TV or TV do you follow? And there's listings, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, and publications and the like. So that's one. There's a question about whether they've ever read books written by Donald Trump, or ostensibly written by Donald Trump, Art of the Deal and the like. A question about whether they have strong opinions about Trump. That'll be very interesting. Some people will say they do. And we'll talk more about this when the jury selection actually happens. But each side has, I think, 10 so-called peremptory challenges that they can just use for any reason. So people will be asked, do you have strong feelings? And some will say they do. And the other side, the DA will then try to say, can you put aside these strong feelings and just go on the basis of the evidence? And they'll get them to say that they will more often than not. And then the question will be, does Trump need to use a peremptory challenge? If they have strong negative feelings, Trump does not want that person on the jury. But of course, if there's strong positive feelings, it's even more worrisome on the other side for the prosecution, because Trump just needs one holdout to go for him, kind of no matter what the evidence says, and that would be a hung jury, and it would play as a victory for Trump. His best shot at a victory. He's not going to get an acquittal. But so back to the little skirmish that will then ensue. The DA would say, well, he said he could be fair. And Trump said, no, it's clear he can't be fair. If the judge agrees with Trump, then he would grant a challenge for cause. And you can have as many of those as there's good cause for them. If, people who come up and there's one after the other, the brother-in-law of the prosecutor, all of those you can challenge for cause. But if the judge agrees with the DA, no, I think this person can be fair, now Trump likely still has to bounce that person, but use a peremptory challenge, one of those precious 10 that you don't need a reason for, and you can use for any reason unless other than race. Okay, so strong opinions about Trump will be a big thing. Do you listen to the podcast by Michael Cohen or Mark Pomerantz, who, remember, was an initial lawyer on the case under Cyrus Vance, wanted to bring it? You can imagine why people would want to know that. Do you belong to any organization? And there are 6 or 7 listed, but Proud Boys, QAnon, 3 Percenters, and the like. So basically any, I think it's fair to say, sympathetic to domestic terrorism. And so those will be the main ones. And I understand, I'll have to go back and double check, but the judge will ask the first questions, but then the attorneys will be able to ask follow-up. But the judge has cautioned you can't go on forever. It can't just be a shill for trying to make points. So you'll sometimes see in trials just one side say again and again and again some point they want to make, like, can you really put aside your views and go on the evidence? A prosecutor might say, and Mayor China is making it clear in his order, we're not going to do that 26 times and with every juror and the like. Anonymous jury and whether they'll be informed, that matters. The statement of the case that he's going to read to jurors, I think it's the right statement, an important statement to the jurors and the public, that it's about election interference. Then all these questions that will be asked, and then we'll have some follow-up, and then we'll have challenges either for cause or peremptory. The no answer or reason need be given unless the other side says, I think that was race, and then it's incumbent on the side that made the challenge, the peremptory challenge, to give a reason other than race why they exercised it. Okay, so there you have it. It's like really getting real, really down the nitty gritty. A lot of trial lawyers think that this part of the case is maybe the most important, where more cases are won or lost. As we get near to the event, I'll tell you more about how this actually is going to work, and it's pretty elaborate and pretty fascinating. But for now, we know the questions they'll be asked and the way the case is going to be described to them. We are really closing in on the opening of New York versus Trump. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.